Welcome to Timberland Farms. My name's Anthony. Today is part 2 of the tree removal and everything else we got going on here at Full Creek Farms. You can hear in the background a little bit here and there of George. George runs Full Creek Farms YouTube channel if you want to go check him out. He's running the chainsaw, cutting up some of these logs that we've dropped in the previous video. We're going to get my backhoe fired up. It's a 1968 Case 580 CK. Some of you may remember in the previous videos we rebuilt the transmission in it, put new clutches in it, new seals and all that, and it works flawless. And off camera I went and repacked some hydraulic cylinders that were leaking. I still have a few left. If you're interested to see how that is done, please let me know in the comment section below. So the first thing we're going to get to is replace the tooth that fell off the backhoe bucket. So right here is the tooth in question that fell off. I stopped and saw my dad this afternoon. I helped him for a couple hours this morning and I picked up a bolt. He had a bolt on hand that fit this perfectly. Usually you've got these special pins. They got two metal plates with little ridges on either side with a rubber piece in between. Those work great if your shanks are not worn out. The shanks wear out due to people running the bucket and digging with it without having teeth on there. Somebody dug excessively without having teeth on this bucket, so they're very, very worn out. The only thing that's really going to hold is probably a bolt. So we got this grade 8 7/16 bolt we're going to throw in there, and hopefully this won't fall off. The other 4 teeth on the bucket have that proper rubber bushing pin, so if those fall off, we'll just go get a couple more bolts. But let's go stick this thing on. Alright, so this is the shank in question. You can see that it's very rounded out. The hole is very wallowed out. It's been worn for a long time. It's actually due for a shank replacement. I'm not going to do that anytime soon. We don't have a whole lot of digging we got to do other than this project right here. This is going to be the biggest digging project that we're going to have in a long time. So I'll get to replacing the shank at a later date. But this should be nice and square and sharp that fit the pocket inside this tooth very well. So we're just going to stick this guy in here and run the bolt in. Uh-oh. We might have to drill that out in order to get that to fit. This is the bolt that my dad uses on his Case 580K backhoe. Much newer backhoe than this. It's like late 80s, early 90s era backhoe. This one's like a 1968. So we're going to see if we can get this bolt to fit in there. I don't think the shanks are hardened steel, but we're going to find out when we go to drill it. So this right here is that pin in question. This was the first job digging with it, and it bent and broke off in the first like an hour or so of digging. So you can see that there's 2 steel plates here. One side has these 2 grooves on either side to help keep it in place. And then you can see that the rubber inside here, which is deteriorating, keeps the 2 together. But yeah, this will separate. You have 2 steel halves with a rubber center. So this is no longer good. Gotta figure out something for the bolt. So we're gonna just try hammering this in here. Hopefully the threads on the bolt stay intact. It is a grade 8. We might be okay. It's not driving too terribly hard. Until we get to there. And the threads don't look terrible. We're getting to the shoulder part of the bolt. That's why it's running in harder. Now we just got to grab a wrench. I did mess up the threads a little bit on this side, but we might be able to tighten this nut up on here. There, that should be a lot better than what we have currently. George got this group of logs right here. These are going to be for the siding on his barn. And then over by his sawmill, he's got a couple 15, 14, and 16 footers. So all the trees that were taken down that are in the way are not going to waste. He's going to mill them and use them to finish up his barn. It needs a heck of a lot of siding. It looks naked right now. A group of longer length straight pieces. He's going to use these for the joists and rafters or whatnot for the addition. Right there, it's his Woodland Mill sawmill. He might actually make a video of sawing these logs here. You have to go check out his channel, see if he uploads something along those lines. But we got a couple more trees to take down. We got this maple right here and a pine right behind the maple that are coming down next. We have one that's hung up right here. We're got to take that one down before we could drop those two standing trees. Well, it proves to be a little bit too much. It's not budging anymore. Got to try a different approach. Well, she's not quite cutting the mustard. This is a whole tree length worth of log. And size comparison to my boot, it's a big girl. It's probably about 60, 70 feet long, I think. We're gonna try the back. Well, I have yet to mention that this is day 2 of part 2, but we can't pull this log all the way, even with the hoe all the way out. So he's going to cut at 25 feet, and that's less than halfway. About 50-foot log we So we had a slight issue with our clutch pedal here. We've got it disengaged here, but there's a track on this linkage here off your pedal that this roller bearing rolls in, and then this pin was bent and made the bearing go out. Here's what's left of that bearing. It's now 2 pieces instead of 1. All the little needles are gone. No longer existent. So I got to take this guy off. It's a 3/4 inch nut on the back side of your steering column, and then a 1 inch for this nut here. Step out of the way. Slide this whole cam out. This is for your clutch pedal, even though there's no actual clutch. There we go. We got the spool valve out. You see this bolt is all bent. This is a grade 2 bolt. So I'm just planning on swapping over the whole entire spool itself. And this pin should be a lot higher grade. Before we can put that back in, we got to remove this little plate that helps guide it. Now we can remove this plate that's got the slot to help guide the pin. I'm going to put this in here. Make sure it's clean. Make sure your wife yells at you for your dirty laundry. Now we can go ahead and put our plate back on. Don't put your plate on yet. Now we can go ahead and put our cam back on. Now that we got this cam in place, now we can go ahead and put our plate on. So with this guy, when I'm adjusting this, you can go by the book. It's a lot of steps to get it by the book. But the easiest way I found, since I've already got this going once before and it should be pretty close to adjustment, I'm just gonna wait for this needle to be right in the center of the green mark on the oil pressure gauge when the clutch is not depressed. When you go to adjust this, you're gonna watch the pressure gauge up top here. Right now the pressure gauge is reading about 140 to 150 psi. I'll bring it in closer after I show you the broad spectrum of everything. So you're going to adjust the length of this bolt here. Get that to match up where the up position is. That's all the way up. And then you're also going to adjust off of this bolt here. Because this bolt is off-centered. It's pretty much like a cam action. You rotate the bolt here. You'll slide this whole assembly backwards away from the spool valve, giving you an adjustment there. That's how you adjust that, and watch your pressure gauge as you go. So you're going to stick it in forward. I'm taking it out of here so you can see without it moving. Stick it in forward, push the clutch down, it should read 0. Pull the clutch back up, it should come back in the green, about 150 psi. So stick this in reverse, it'll go back up to about 140 psi, push the clutch down, and it'll read 0. Pull the clutch back up, and it'll come back up to about 140 psi. Keep it in neutral. You should have full clutch pressure in neutral. What this brake pedal does, or this clutch pedal does, you're opening up the spool valve. This is the spool. You slide this forward, and that should take all that hydraulic oil that's coming from the pump inside the transmission and bypassing it into dump position. So instead of going from pump to your clutch, it's going from your pump right back to tank, right back to the transmission case, which is your tank. So you clutch forward, it takes the hydraulic oil, takes it, puts it to your forward clutch pack. Here we've got a finish nail we're going to use as a counter pin to hold this guy in here. Shake the video, but this is with this in neutral. We go ahead and push our clutch down with our foot and it goes down to 0. Now we can go ahead and put it in gear, put it forward, release the clutch, and she's going. We'll push the clutch down, then it goes down to 0. That's how you adjust that guy. Now time to get more work done. just determined that we've hit bedrock. We can't get any deeper. Oh, it's shale.
Yeah.
So yeah, the rock that George just threw me is shale. So it's on the bottom of the hole.
Show them the hole. It's all broken up.
Bring you guys down in the hole. We're about 2.5 feet deep, and this is all we're pulling out right here. Pieces of rock. Can't get any deeper. When I was hitting it, he said he's feeling it all the way over here. The entire time of me digging from here to there, he felt it over there. So it's a pretty good sized rock. The only issue is I didn't realize how small of a hole I can actually dig with a backhoe. I need to go that way to about here with a flat level bottom. So let's keep digging. We just put concrete in the bottom of this hole. This is the last post we got to set. Ran a couple string lines, got it nice and plumb. We'll wet the concrete down, and then we'll backfill. Go ahead, Emery.
Did you get wet?
No.
Alright, move your mini log. to make it settle a little bit quicker.
So today's yet another day I got timber with me. As you just saw, we put one of the posts in, the last post right in the middle. So this is going to be an addition for George's sawmill over at Full Creek Farms. If you remember from previous video, and never got bored, but if you remember from the previous video of this project, we had a whole bunch of trees we just pushed over and moved out of the way. That's what all that was for, is for this addition on the side. But we're going to do some fine grading and put some metal roofing on this, but for now I'm going to close the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned.